how do you see the VFX market in India currently?
The market is growing on both the aspects in a big way.
Every year, if you see, our movies are like way complicated, what we have done previously.
The content, the need for content has driven up a lot of requirement for visual effects and post-production work.
The real weakness is that the people today don't know what visuals are. They think that the software will create the visual.
Hi, this is Keitan.
Hi, this is Harry.
Arjun,
You're watching
Bollywood.
Bollywood Hungama.
Bollywood Hungama.
There's a lot of this talk that the budget of VFX in India is much less compared to what it is in Hollywood. So how do you deal with budgets which are not at par with Hollywood, but you're always expected that the quality should be similar?
Yeah, so as far as infrastructure and software and cost goes, apparently is the same because it's the same set of softwares and everything which is used worldwide. Comparatively, India is cheaper in terms of labor, in terms of cost, in terms of infrastructure cost or rentals or whatever compared to Hollywood. If the studio is in Canada or your studio is in US, of course the operating cost, everything compared to dollar versus rupee because of the difference in the exchange rate, India turns out to be cheaper that way. So by default it says 6 to 8 times cheaper when it comes to the same set of skill sets in India. So automatically that budget difference automatically comes into play. Having said that, I think I agree with you that most of the times what the director or the producer wants to execute, because of the constraints in the budgets, they are not either able to execute it to its fullest. Either they have to cut down on the creative or you have to find a cheaper way of doing it, which eventually compromises on quality. So it's partially right, but as far as the reach of the Indian industry is and the scale at which it operates in the global market, there is always a certain budget which is allocated, and we have to work around that. For Zero and Fan, we had approached a multinational company to create a pipeline for us, and they said it's going to take you $5 million in 2 years to create this pipeline, which eventually is, and we had to deliver Fan in 11 months and we apparently delivered Zero in say 15 months. So we do not have that kind of budget or the time to wait for a technology to develop and then use it. So if a project demands a certain technology, then we do our R&D and we indigenously come up with various options as to how to execute it, and this is exactly what we did in Zero.
So how do you see the VFX market in India currently?
It's huge. It's getting bigger all the time because there is a lot of ambition, a lot of, in terms of, let's say you take Rajnikant's 2.0, the amount of visual effects there is humongous. The whole film is visual effects and very visible visual effects. Our film was absolutely invisible effects. So there is a difference there, but the market is growing on both the aspects in a big way.
Okay, and how do you look at the evolution of Red Chillies VFX? Because Mr. Khan has always been very ambitious about special effects. He has been talking about it since many years. He worked on Ravan and all his films. He makes sure that there is some element of VFX that comes across. How do you look at the evolution of Red Chillies VFX?
So we all started with Ravan actually. The whole studio was formed because of Ravan. So we slowly started, like we did Om Shanti Om, then we did My Name is Khan, then Ravan came, and then we got a chance to work on Krish, and we got Fan, and now Zero. So like every year, if you see, our movies are like way complicated, what we have done previously. So that way it's very challenging, and that's why we are pretty lucky also to kind of be with Red Chillies. And so we get to kind of produce our own movies where we can try things, different things, and kind of get some new level in VFX. So that way it's evolving, and nowadays because a lot of outsource work is coming in India, and that way a lot of people are learning, they're getting good exposure. So the kind of team strength is really becoming better and better every time.
What are your views?
Yeah, like Harry said, we started in 2006. We were like a 12-man team when we started. We are currently at 550 of us. Okay, and we started with our own VFX, and we have now started our international division. We have done couple of Chinese films and a couple of Hollywood films, and we have started that as well. and that work also has been appreciated by these other studios outside who have been outsourcing work to us. A couple of years back, we started our Red Chillies color division, which has very quickly become one of the topmost grading studio in the country.
Right.
And pretty soon now we are starting our Netflix, Amazon digital division, where again the content, the need for content has driven up a lot of requirement for visual effects and post-production work.
Bards of the Blood, I believe, is
Yes,
one
Bard
of
of Blood we are doing another film called Badla. We have already locked in a couple of Netflix projects. So yes, things are changing for good, and I think the need for content and good quality is actually gonna now come into the foreplay.
Right.
With Netflix very strict and stringent policies and processes, 4K pipeline. A lot of things are going to change pretty quickly, because that has to be embedded and put into the pipeline, and a lot of studios, including us, are all getting geared towards it. So yeah, the work demand and the demand for good quality work is on the rise, and it's on the rise pretty quickly.
Okay, finally, if you can just let us know your all-time favorite films which are having VFX. Starting with you.
Mine is always Terminator 2.
Terminator 2?
Yeah.
Why is it?
That's when I started working in this industry. That was my first biggest VFX film which I saw, and I was like, wow, this is wow. So I always like that.
Same story. Mine is Abyss by James Cameron. That was a film which I saw on the first row of the Sterling Theatre and said, okay, I need to get into this.
What about you?
Everything, the old films are the real influences, like all the way from Star Wars to all the way from there. We all grew up during that time, so as an influence, those films influence us much more than a Aquaman right now, which is gathering all that knowledge and using it in one film. The grounding for us, the understanding, the thinking, all started with probably Star Wars.
If anyone has to, if anyone wants to get into VFX, so what are the things that they can possibly do, and what are the institutes that maybe possibly they can get into so that they can learn from there? And
see, the Indian, that's where one thing is lacking, and the kind of huge push Netflix, Amazons, and the interest in visual effects oriented films which are happening right now currently in India. So one thing which we in India need to get this at par is actually the training and the education process, which is quite fragmented, to be very honest right now, and you do not get people who are studio ready. The newbies can just come in and with a little bit of hand holding start the project, be on the project. That level of education, or that level of training institutes, or that level of mentoring or something has not yet set foot in India, and that is something which the industry, along with the government and the players who are actually in the training field, have to put their minds and heads together and figure out a proper process as to how a new talent can be infused into the industry, and that's where the difference is going to be. That's where the challenge is going to be.
what about you? What is your opinion?
I think, a lot of institutes should hire a kind of part-time as well, or they should invite them, senior guys to kind of speak about VFX. Mainly people who have done projects, so that's very important, because nowadays I think, in institute there are not many people who are kind of, who have enough experience to kind of teach. So I feel, they should invite from other studios, a lot of senior guys, supervisors, producers, to speak about, VFX, what is required actually. And for the students, I feel, they should start with the camera, see through camera what exactly happens, because it's not what your eyes see. What camera sees, what you need to capture and what you need to do, to make it look realistic. So that's very important for every student to kind of, start clicking pictures, see where you are going wrong. That's the first thing we should do. That's very important. Then only you'll be able to learn aesthetics, composition. That's very important in VFX.
What is your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. This is right. On an individual level, there's VFX's software, techniques, and what you know, which is your visual interpretation of what life is, because visual effects is trying to replicate life. Be it invisible like in our film Zero, or be it completely over the top like in Rajnikant's 2. So I think the training has to come from first within, which is learn how to see things. Because as soon as you do that, you're going to be productive a lot faster. You need a lot less hand-holding. And what Harry's saying, take photographs, go out and shoot stuff, is so important, because then you really get to know what the visual is. Most people today, the real weakness is that the people today don't know what visuals are. They think that the software will create the visual, and that's completely wrong, because it's always the individual who creates the visuals. Software is just a tool. So I think the biggest hurdle is for students, and we can have training sessions on this, like, you know, extended, is teach people how to look at things. What do they really see? What is composition? What is lighting? You know, and if you have to make a spaceship, what is a spaceship? You have to know a hell of a lot of things to actually become a visual effects artist. Your experience, your visual experience has to be really, really high. And that's when you're going to be a star. Otherwise, yeah.
Okay, so when can we possibly have an Avengers maybe in India? Can we make an Avengers in India?
Sure, somebody has to write the story. Somebody has put in the money to make it.
It's possible, no?
Yeah, we'll do it.
I'm saying entirely from VFX perspective, because it has a hell lot of.
Yes, I think
Entirely from.
currently, like Poa and Harry was saying, that, you know, our field is actually amalgamation or a combination of technology and artistry. You need to have a bit of both to basically succeed in this. And I think we as Indians actually we have a lot of those kind of combinations available. It's just that if somebody comes up with a script and somebody has a budget for it and the time for it and the vision for it,
We are game.
yeah, VFX I don't think is a challenge anymore. It can be achieved.
Great. That's I think wonderful to
Because, you
listen
know,
to.
like, hardly I think we outsource one sequence abroad. The rest is done in India.
2.0 was primarily abroad.
Abroad, that's right.
And see, most of the time is because of the time factor. The way the industry operates, you ask for a certain time, and once that time has passed and it is still not yet locked, then to finish the project on time, there are only two ways we can achieve it. Either we increase the heads or we increase the time, right? You cannot compromise on the quality. So if we do not have that kind of time, and if our resources are full, we do not have an option but to outsource.
Like, if you would have had like 3 to 4 months more, we would have done it everything.
Yeah.
There was no need to send. So that's why I said, you know, the exposure has become better. People have become better now. So yeah, I mean, it's possible. As you're saying, Avengers, yeah, it's possible now.
Actually, that thing started with the old Krish, with the old Ravan, and it was a step in the right direction, and it's just getting more and more evolved. And it just the talent is available now, so it's
a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
Within India, we normally in every year now we see good 2-3 films, you know, coming
VFX
out. Like
heavy.
compared to, you know, it used to be like in
Every 2
one couple of
years, yeah.
So now it has become better, definitely. So there are so many people.
I guess Brahmastra is one, which is a superhero film, which apparently looks very interesting. So yeah, you know, we don't know what is it, but it looks very interesting from a VFX point of view.
Right.
So there are films. There are some South industry has broken a lot
South,
of
Yeah,
barriers.
then
Shankar and all these
there's
movies.
4 and 5. They're planned. So yeah, so I think we'll see next 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, there will be a couple of fresh movies will come out.
A couple of fresh movies in.
I think they are 1.5 years will take. So
Oh, that's
what I've
interesting.
heard. I mean, there are 2 they are planning.
Yeah, and then the Netflix. You're forgetting the Netflix and the Amazons of the
We
world.
can't because we can't.
They are the ones who will be.
Pioneers.
I've been told they have actually whitelisted a lot of shows which are like really VFX heavy.
And they have the budgets.
They have the budgets, yeah. And
They have the budgets, like the way they have
They
their
have the reach.
marketing. The way they're marketing and then promoting, spending on their promotions is amazing.
it's gonna be good golden times for the coming years. Yeah, challenge will be at what quality and what professionalism, you know, people execute them and
That will be the key.
where they take it to. Yeah.
That will be the key.
VFX has become, just like film, is largely a very logistical exercise. If you can get your logistics right, if you can plan it right and set the pipelines right, then it all becomes manageable.
It can
Not
save you a
Yep,
lot of time.
yes.
Lot of hard work can be eliminated, and actually also you can also save money
Yep.
if you use it very smartly. You should know how to use it, and that's the challenge with a lot of Indian filmmakers. They do not know how effectively to use it.
Yeah.
That's true. That
And
is-
visual effects is largely about cheating also. You need a certain visual, you have to have the vision in front of you and then cheat your way through. You don't have to do the rigorous way of making something, because if you know the shot is just that, you can just go for it and cheat it.
Yeah. What camera is seeing?
Yeah, what is the camera seeing? Why do extra work? And yep, so I think the whole industry is learning that pretty well.
And Indians can be good at Jhol Jal. So I think it's a
Jugaad.
matter of time.
Jugaad.
Jugaad, yes.
That has to happen in VFX. Like back in days, Ireland has always done that. kept the mystery on always. They never show anything clean. That's what it is.
If you're showing a forest, you don't need to make a 3D tree for the entire forest. You just have to have your foreground in 3D and the rest of are all matte paintings or 2Ds. That's what Poa was thinking about the visual. That they don't know. They'll start making the entire tree forest in 3D, and then it's going to take 48 hours to render one frame, and then you're like, okay, the budget is going up. So that's what Poa said. That if you know what the camera is seeing, you can easily cheat it.
I think this discussion can go on and on and on. And some very, very interesting, I think, subject as well. Very.
It's our life.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's your life, and I'm sure that a lot of people who will be watching this, hopefully, I think they'll be having a lot of interest in this as well. So thank you very much. Lovely talking to you. Thank you for your time. I think we've had a great learning experience, and all the best wishes for all your future ventures. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Keitan.
Hi, this is Harry.
Arjun,
You're watching
You're watching Bollywood.
Bollywood Hungama.
Bollywood Hungama.